So in today's video, I wanted to talk about something us electric guitarists love to talk about, complain about, and compare and argue about online, and that is guitar picks, and specifically guitar pick thickness. Now, a while ago on the channel, I made a video talking about why thick picks are better, and since making that video a couple months ago, I have actually trimmed my pick size down by literally more than half. I went from a 2mm pick to a 0.88 millimeter pick. And I just wanted to talk about why I made that change, and then later on in this video I'm going to compare with EQ graphs so that it's kind of scientific and feels fun. I'm going to compare and contrast what happens to our sound when we use thicker picks and what happens when we feel thicker picks. So looking at this pick here, this is my new main pick. This is a Tortex 0.88 millimeter. I've been using these since about late November of 2024. And I just wanted to share why I've made the change to these. So to give you some background, I've been using basically 1.5 or thicker picks, 1.5 millimeter or thicker picks, pretty much since I discovered a Jazz 3 back in high school. So many years with thicker picks. If I think back, I was probably playing 11 gauge strings back then, 10s or 11s. And I found that using thicker picks gave me significantly more control. But since then, however, I ended up going to jazz school, and now, of course, I actually make most of my living performing as a jazz musician. And doing that led to me bumping up my string gauge again. So over the last kind of 6 or 7 years, my main gauge of strings has been either 12s or 13s. Currently, I'm on 12s. I think 12s is kind of like the perfect happy medium between me still being able to do bends if I'm on a pop or country gig, while also having this beautiful, stable platform that also lets me run relatively low action without fret buzz. But what I think I've found is that I kept carrying my thick picks because I remembered that epiphany I had when I first used a Jazz 3 in high school, where it suddenly felt like I had way more control. And then just out of curiosity, I saw Julian Lage has been using the Tortex 0.88 millimeter picks for the last couple of years. And in my pick quest, I discovered the Dunlop Flow picks, which I really love the shape of these. They have a really nice tip that's kind of like a hybrid between a fatter kind of normal guitar pick shape and a pointy Jazz 3. And so I decided I'd go pick up a set of these 0.88 millimeter Tortex Flows just to see what I thought of them. And I actually instantly found some interesting things. So depending on who you ask, these picks could still classify as thick picks or heavy picks, but they're basically the lightest heavy picks that you could have. And I found that when I was playing, I actually enjoyed playing with these more. And the reason is because I use such thick strings, 12s tuned to standard tuning. I think in between our strings and our picks, something needs to be a little bit more flexible and something needs to be a little bit more rigid. And I've tried to use thinner strings than 12s and I just hate them. I bend them sharp. I have to raise my action so that I don't get finger buzz, and it just kind of pisses me off. But by using thinner picks, there's now less kind of resistance. When I use thicker picks, now I can actually feel my right hand kind of bumping because the string has very little give and then the pick has very little give. So I think by actually using lighter gauge picks, I've kind of preserved some of the feeling in my right hand. So the pick passes through the string a little bit more effortlessly, doesn't bounce my hand around, and it works. And I think this actually gives me, with my funny setup again of 12s and standard tuning, I think this gives me the same kind of sense of stability and control that a player using, say, 10 gauge strings and a 1.5 to 2 millimeter pick would feel, because the strings have a lot more give in that scenario and the pick doesn't. So I think that that's kind of a principle that maybe we should all try to find our ideal balance of, is how much give is in the string versus how much give is in the pick. So that's my long kind of ramble about how I ended up getting here. Now let's get into the nuts and bolts. So what I'm going to do, I have 3 picks here. I have my Tortex 0.88 millimeter Flow. I have this Ernie Ball Everlast, which is kind of like an alternative to the Dunlop Tortex, and this is a 1.5 millimeter pick. And then here, this is very similar to a Jazz 3 shape. This is an in-tune guitar pick, which I was endorsed by them for a while, and then I just kind of went my own way. Nothing wrong with these picks. I just it wasn't the world's most beneficial deal for me or the company, so we decided we were going to part ways. But this is a 2mm Jazz 3 pick, but this is made out of, and the key thing about this is that these picks are all the same material. So these are all made out of Tortex or Delrin, this kind of plastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record one example with each of these of me playing a single note melody, so we can hear kind of the difference of these pick thicknesses, see if anything actually goes through, and while this happens, I'm going to play you kind of like a spectrograph of the actual frequency response in this. So, without further ado, starting out with the thinner pick, here's the Tortex, and then I'll do a blind test at the end where I jumble up the order. But here we're going to go from thinnest to thickest. So here's me just playing a simple single note melody. Now here's me doing that again, but now with a 1.5mm pick. And here with a 2mm pick. Now here what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a similar thing, but I'm going to do it with some chords. So if I go through here, we'll end up with something that sounds like this. I'm just going to arpeggiate a very, very simple C to A minor. And again, here is the Tortex flow. Now here is the 1.5mm Ernie Ball Everlast. And now here is the Intune Guitar Picks 2mm Tortex pick. So there is all of those picks in demo. And now what I kind of think going into this is that they do all have a little bit different of a sound. I find that the thicker pick actually sometimes has a little bit more bass response, whereas the thinner picks have a little bit more kind of high-end information, which is something that you might expect to see. However, I don't think it's anything that you couldn't get by adjusting a presence control or a treble control on your amp to get the desired sound that you like. So I think the primary choice here would be just what feels best to you. So let me know what you think in the comments. But at this final bit of the video, I'm going to change up the order. I'm going to cut out this video screen, and I'm just going to improvise some little melodies. So there'll be different kind of melodies. I'll try to keep them on the higher strings, but now I'm going to change up the pick order and see if you can guess which pick is which in the comments. I'll let you know which was which in the comments. But okay, so here, video's going away. Let's test your ears. That was pick A, here's pick B. And now here is pick C. So anyways, let me know what you thought of those. Let me know your guesses down below. I'll let you know if you got them right or not. But if you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. It truly helps me out more than you can know. If you'd like to take a guitar lesson with me, there's a link to get in touch with me down in the description. I'd love to work with you on whatever's troubling you on the guitar. If you're looking to support me in the free educational content that I put out here, you can consider subscribing to my Patreon, which is linked down in the description there. All of my patrons get early access to videos, as well as cool behind-the-scenes sneak peeks at stuff that I'm working on, and access to the PDFs of diagrams that pop up here. that I don't share with anyone else. So I'd love to see you over there. It's a wonderful little community of guitar lovers. Another great way to support me and what I do is to check out my video courses or my ebook, which are also linked down below. It's a great way to get some more in-depth content from me than what I can fit into a 10 to 15 minute YouTube video. And last but not least, I've got new videos coming out every single week, so I hope to see you in the next one. And until I do, I'll wish you a wonderful day, and I hope you have some fun playing the guitar. Thanks.